How that becomes a conflict of interest, I don't know, because if you're on a plane, and it's happened to him plenty of times, when he was part of the governing council, a captain would come up to him of a certain franchisee and say, listen, hey, Sunny Bhai, do you think we should, what combination should we play? It could have been, Saurav Ganguly from the Knight Riders or any captain. By giving them advice, does that become conflict of interest by just telling the Knight Riders, listen, I think maybe you should play 2 spinners, or telling the Mumbai Indians you should play maybe, 3 spinners? Does that become a conflict of interest? I don't know. I don't think so. He's been offered this Kochi job after he's no longer associated with the governing council or the IPL. He was offered, various, to be involved with various franchisees when he was with the IPL, and he declined because that would be conflict of interest. What to me is conflict of interest is someone like Krishnamachari Shrikant, chairman of the National Selection Committee, and something to do with the Chennai Super Kings. Look, he has no money involved with the Kochi franchisee. He's coming on board only after he's no longer with the governing council. So where this conflict of interest comes place, I don't know. And as to whether he should have told his fans earlier, that he was involved with the Kochi IPL. Look, he's advised about 7, 8 other guys and film stars, real estate owners who wanted to invest. I mean, do you have to come out and say, look, I brushed my teeth at 7 in the morning, or he's given a piece of advice. He hasn't said, look, do this, do that. It's a tender which was closed in an envelope. I don't know how you can, sort of influence that. So he has nothing to sort of say like, look,
you're saying
why did he have to come out early and say,
Kochi,
I advise the Kochi
which
team.
he hadn't done for other teams. Sanjay Jha, he was, although on the IPL Governing Council, a man on the inside, and a lot of people would say it isn't as simplistic as Rohan Gavaskar is making out to be, because from the comments made by the owners of the Kochi franchise, it seems Mr. Gavaskar has been helping them put the team together. They're calling him their friend, mentor, guide, and he's been helping them right from the time he's been in the governing council. Do you or do you not believe that this is a conflict of interest?
Yeah, I think you cannot ignore the fact that there were rumors at the very beginning. In fact, in the months when the Kochi franchise actually won, that there was a very senior cricketer from Mumbai who was actively engaged in supporting them. So in fact, a willful interest to be engaged in the IPL franchise was in some kind of an evidence long time ago. And the bottom line is that if you look at Sunil Gavaskar's later refusal to be part of the IPL Governing Council, it goes to show a clear intent, which is why possibly there were also again a lot of speculation that he asked for a very exorbitant sum from the IPL Governing Council, which they refused to apparently give him, which I'm sure was somewhere down the line the commensurate amount that he might be benefiting through some kind of an equity or the financial compensation that he'll get from the Kochi franchise. I think the critical element remains, and that is something that has not been answered. Because Sunil Gavaskar is no ordinary person. He's a legend of Indian cricket, as you've been rightly saying so. He's a role model. Now, you had a very senior minister, a man of the caliber of Shashi Tharoor, who had to quit from the ministry itself for an alleged indirect stake through Sunanda Pushkar in IPL Kochi. Now, here you have Sunil Gavaskar, who was part of the IPL Governing Council, that technically was the one that selected Kochi. Now, if you have been involved in influencing that decision, which is very difficult to believe that it's not, and he was just giving some kind of informal advice, well, all informal advice does not translate into an equity holding. So there is a serious, I think, aspect here of how our cricketers conduct themselves when they become much more powerful because of their whole reputation and image. Okay. And I think the critical point is that this is not an isolated case of a conflict of interest. Rahul. You see, you're seeing crony capitalism all over at this point.
Okay, Rohan Gavaskar wants to respond to the points that you're making, Sanjay. Rohan, go on.
Sure.
Yeah. I'd just like to respond to a point that Sanjay is making. The governing council didn't select the Kochi IPL team. The Kochi IPL team bid for it, and they had the second highest bid, and that is why they got the franchisee. If someone else had bid more than the Kochi owners, they would have